That's the most entertaining podcast about sports there is around. We hope you respect our opinions as we look to respect yours. This podcast is for entertainment and analytical purposes only, and made to have fun. Leave us your thoughts of our topics and comments in the comment section below. We hope you will enjoy the podcast, like the videos, and subscribe to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the All Sports Podcast. My name is Gentry, my colleague, of course. I just said that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, I can edit
My
it
name
out
is.
there.
I wasn't trying to make that into an insult, but what a start. My name is Jonah. My colleague is Gentry. Sunday evening, some good football. Monday night is the big one we're talking about today, though, between Clemson and LSU. We'll start off with, we're going to go ahead and get right into it because we got a lot to talk about. So let's just go ahead and dig into it. In the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, LSU defeated Oklahoma 63-28. LSU dominated with a 42-point first half, 7 touchdowns from Burrow in the first half, and multiple records were broken by the LSU Tigers in that game. Dominated performance as expected, and LSU just moves on. That's all I got to say. What do you think?
Yeah, but I'm not going to elaborate too much because we got like a whole pack should, but I hate to be this guy, but that's what I expected. This Oklahoma, they've been on one side of football team forever, so it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was 7-7 at one point, and the next thing you know, the final score of the first quarter is like 28-7.
I thought it was going to be competitive, and then, oh man, how can I not think of his name?
Justin Jefferson.
Yep, that's him. He caught like
4 touchdowns.
Yep.
In the first half.
And the reason I can't think of his name is because their whole receiver core is so good, so I think of the other ones too.
Yeah. You hate to see the way Jalen Hurts went out, but when you go against a national champion team, but you just got dealt the wrong hand. Moving on to game number 2 at the college football playoff semifinal, the Fiesta Bowl out in Arizona between the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes and the number 3 Clemson Tigers. A better game, honestly, a much more closer game. Clemson does come out on top 29-23 as they win a nail-biter after intercepting Justin Fields in the end zone after miscommunication between Fields and the receiver. Trevor Lawrence led a 16-point comeback, which was Clemson's biggest at the national title game.
Yeah, after I think about it, it made sense because Clemson took it close into the fourth, and that experience they have just showed.
And just what a game from Trevor Lawrence. Just like Kirk was saying during the game, we haven't seen this type of pressure get put on Trevor Lawrence, but he showed up and showed out and got his team to where they belong into that national title game.
Yeah, when he got that run, I kind of knew it was going to turn.
And I can't believe the legs on him, especially after he got hit. Or I don't know if that was after or before the hit, but
like Uncle Lou and all those commentators on TV say, every time he takes a step, it's like eating up 3 to 5 yards. So he might not be fast, but his long legs get more yards than like regular.
Yeah, just not mobility, can't throw the ball, but he can run if he needs to. Again, Clemson moves on to the game that we are moving on to, the topic of this podcast, the College Football Playoff National Championship in 2020 between the 14-0 first-ranked LSU Tigers, God almighty, versus the third-ranked 14-0 Clemson Tigers. This game will take place in Mercedes-Benz Superdome at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. local time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on ESPN. Obviously, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit will call the game. LSU is the 5.5-point favorite, but ESPN's Football Power Index has them predicted with 55.8% victory for Clemson. The over-under is 68.5, looking to be a shootout between these two stout offenses and Clemson's good defense, LSU's possibly good defense.
68.5. Jeez.
LSU's obviously the best offense in the country, no doubt about that. Stat-wise, throughout the whole entire season, these mean nothing now. It's down to one game, but it's nice to talk about them since what they have accomplished this season: 48.9 points a game, 564 yards per game, 397 through the air, 169.9 on the ground. As of the defensive side of LSU, they've had their moments. It's been shaky, but out of all the games this year, they need the defense to come in and show out in this one. They averaged.
Oklahoma had better stats than they did, but at the same time, Oklahoma was missing like 3 defensive people. But I still don't think it mattered.
Yeah, Joe Brady and Joe Burrow I don't think anybody can stop that, not even.
LSU's defense is kind of like Clemson's football team when they play against ACC competition. They just play down to their opponent. Like, that's actually a talented group. They just got to figure it out because they got good people everywhere on defense.
LSU has given up 21.2 points per game, 341 total yards, 221 through the air, and 119 on the ground. Moving on to Clemson. Clemson has stayed up there in the offensive this year. They're not really known for that this season. They're known for having a top 3 defense in the league. Debatably the best with the stats and their shutouts and holding their opponents to under double digits points. But their offense, 45.3 points per game, 538 yards per game, 292 yards through the air, 246 through the ground. So a balanced offense with ETN and Trevor Lawrence, Justin Ross, you know them. But the defense is where it's at, 10.6 points per game, 244 yards per game, 138 through the air, and 106 on the ground. Statistic-wise, obviously LSU's offense beats out Clemson, not by much, but Clemson's defense just looks amazing. I mean, it's easily probably, right now being they made it to the national title game, the best defense in the league, or not the league, but in college football. Just because they made it here, they held that Ohio State explosive offense to 23 points. They forced 2 turnovers on Justin Fields. It'll definitely be a good one from the stats-wise. Or it could be one of those games where, both teams just kind of chill. Nobody does anything. I mean,
if that happens, I think Clemson's going to win. If it's like a close little thing, I don't like Clemson, but that's just because of their coach. I've said that to multiple people. I don't like him. He just whines too much. Act like people don't like Clemson, but they're literally predicted to win by ESPN. Like, come on. And the only reason that Clemson can't afford a loss is because their schedule is so horrible, and they can control it because all they got to do is put one good out of conference game and they can afford a loss, but they don't have none of those. So, I mean, that's their own fault.
Yeah, I mean, he did talk about how the committee didn't want him in there, putting them at number 3, putting them at number 5 in the very start of it, putting Alabama at 3 and Penn State at 4, Georgia at 6 at the time. I mean, well, you win by 1 point to North Carolina, which could have went to overtime, and you could have lost that, but you win the games as you're supposed to, and so with that, you deserve to be in it. And, well, here they are, making it to their second straight national title game.
Still, you'd rather win by 1 than lose like Georgia did against South Carolina. So, I mean,
fine. That's what changes everything for Georgia and LSU or Clemson. Clemson wins that game. Georgia doesn't. Here we are now. Georgia with the Sugar Bowl victory over Baylor. Was a pretty decent game.
They weren't going to win anything with that offense, though. Not even going to waste time talking about it. Everybody knows how I feel about it.
Yeah. Especially now with Fromm gone, you got the quarterback coming in from Wake Forest.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Be pretty new look for the Georgia team next year, but that's not what this podcast is about. Let's keep moving on. We'll talk about LSU's season right now. LSU, they started out facing Georgia Southern with a dominating victory. They move on down the line. They play some more non-conference games against teams such as Northwestern State, Utah State. They went down to Texas. They come out with an insane victory. I think it was like a 3rd down 17, 4th down 17 or something.
Yeah, it's third down, 17.
It's third down. They win that game 45-38. Kind of show everybody that they're the real deal to go out against Vanderbilt 66-38 in a shootout, even though they had them beat from the start.
I mean, that's why they got put ahead of Clemson. You face number 9, or I don't know why it says that, but anyway, I don't know what they were ranked at the time, but you face Texas, then you face Florida, then you face Mississippi State, then you face Auburn, then you face Alabama, then you face Texas A&M. So, I mean, even one of those teams I just named is better than anybody Clemson faced their whole regular season. Even though Clemson did face Texas A&M, but still.
Yeah, the marquee defining victory for LSU was not that 23-20 victory over Auburn, which was a good game between Burrows and Nix, but it was that 46-41 game in Tuscaloosa when Joe Burrow led down the field and took LSU up on Alabama 46-34. Obviously, Alabama would not get the onside kick. They would make it 46-41. Clyde Edwards-Helaire would get the first down, and LSU would seal the deal. Then they would go in a shootout with Ole Miss, handle Arkansas, destroy A&M against Georgia, and then take care of business against Oklahoma, leading them now to their biggest game since 2008 in the national title game. The first Heisman quarterback, I think it was for LSU, maybe? Joe Burrow, is that what it is? First Heisman for LSU or something?
Yeah, I don't think they never had one.
LSU's first Heisman, Joe Burrow, looking to lead the Bayou Bengals to their first title since beating the Ohio State University Buckeyes in the 2008 national title game in the stadium which they will play at and on Monday night, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. LSU rides a 19-game winning streak. They ride that. They won before this, but really what kind of changed them around for Joe Burrow and the Tigers was that win against UCF in the Fiesta Bowl after UCF kind of went up on them. But the change in that game was that targeting on Joe Burrow after an interception or something. And ever since then, LSU has not looked back.
They hired Joe Brady this year, right? There's no way they had him last year and was that bad. Yeah.
He came in from the Saints.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, LSU has just dominated every competition they've played, honestly.
I'm going to get harassed for saying this, but he was covering up for Drew Brees being a little washed. Because you can see it. But that's like off topic kind of.
Even last week against Oklahoma, they win 63-28, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't even have many touches, which is kind of scary. They brought in that boy Curry, and I thought he looked pretty impressive.
But what's his name would get way more touches. I'm just curious what they're going to say about T. Higgins. If he's healthy already or not. I mean,
yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. I honestly don't know I don't understand how he got injured. I saw how they came down on him, but it didn't even look that bad, honestly, in my opinion. But it could be pivotal. But you would think that Ed would put I forgot what the cornerback's name. I think it's Singletary or something. I don't think that's it. But the freshman cornerback who just is outstanding for LSU, they'll probably put him on T. Higgins or Justin Ross. But LSU hasn't been here since since they won since 2008, and they're in their backyard in Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I honestly don't know why they're not the favorite if you don't choose them. I mean, I understand Clemson, big time 20, but Dabo, Trevor Lawrence, and all that just kind of makes sense. But LSU's just the better team, honestly, this year. Even with Clemson's outstanding defense. But Clemson, again, 29-game winning streak. The sophomore out of Lawrenceville High School in Georgia is looking to keep his win streak alive as a starter at quarterback at Clemson, as Clemson is looking to win back-to-back titles for the first time in school history. Clemson coming off of a kind of slow start to the season. Clemson would face, who'd they face off first? Georgia Tech, I think it was. They win 52-14. They would face Texas A&M in Death Valley. They would win that game 24-10. Go on to Syracuse, win 41-6. Then face Charlotte, take care of business there. Then they would have that scare with North Carolina. And ever since that North Carolina game, it's just been pedal to the metal. 45-10 Louisville, 59-7 Boston College, 45-14 Florida State, 59-14 Wofford, 55-10 North Carolina State, 52-3 Wake Forest, 38-3 South Carolina. And then they beat Virginia in the conference championship game with a final score of 62-17. And of course they would play Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff semifinal with a final score of 29-23. Again, Trevor Lawrence was the star in that game with 259 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Clemson again, slow start, strong finish. Their biggest deficit of the season was 10. I forgot to whom, but until they faced Ohio State, they were down 16. And they came back and won.
Even if they lose this game, they got to be the favorite going into next year.
Because Trevor Lawrence has to come back. He can't leave.
Alabama don't have a quarterback. Georgia's going to have a new quarterback. Ohio State probably, I don't know. Still young.
They'll still have Justin Fields.
They're not going to have Dobbins anymore. I don't think, no.
They'll have Master Teague. But,
he might only be good on NC.
Clemson again with an outstanding 29-game win streak. Their last loss was in the playoff game against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl in 2018 when they were the 1 seed. They lost to Alabama, the 4 seed, because Georgia would beat Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl.
I wonder if the 1 seed curse will continue. I think it's going to be broken.
I do too. But Clemson is the 3 seed, so, I don't know, because I don't think that matters.
That's what Georgia was a couple of years ago when they should have won because they were the best team, but I can't get on that right now. It's not what it's about. But they were the best team, top to bottom. You can look it up. It's facts.
Well, a freshman, Jacob Fromm.
That was his best season, his last good season, in my opinion. Yeah.
But, two amazing quarterbacks. One a senior out of Ohio, I think. I know he transferred from Ohio State. Come in last year, his junior season. Kind of got his feet wet, and now he's just torching it up. He'll be probably the number 1 pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. And he got his Heisman. He's looking to get his national title against Goldilocks, Mr. Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Golden Boy. He's been here before. He knows what he's doing, which is crazy. As a sophomore, you wouldn't think he'd be saying that, but he's just doing his thing. There's nothing wrong with
college football now. And to me, right now, since Alabama's lost to them like the last 2 times and didn't make the playoffs this time, Clemson's the top program now.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to change even if they lose to LSU because it dang sure is not LSU even if they win. Nobody has any idea what that team's going to be like next year. People are saying it's either going to be like Oklahoma where you just plug and go if they can keep Brady, which he got offered a job for the Panthers to be under Matt Rule, or he can stay in LSU, probably get a pay raise and keep breaking records. But I think Joe Burrow is a pretty good quarterback. He just needed a little tweaking, and that's what happened. So now
it's kind of like that Matt Shanahan, God Almighty, Jesus, I can't speak. Matt Ryan and Kyle Shanahan type connection back in Super Bowl 51 day. I forget what year that was, but
Yeah, I think maybe.
That
Yeah.
connection with Matt Ryan had 15 different receivers to score a touchdown in that season. One MVP had over 5,000 passing yards and 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it, but I mean, you can debate it now, but I still think he's the best receiver. He made one of the best catches I've ever seen, and they still couldn't win. Jeez.
With a broken toe up 8 with 4 minutes left.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, but it's just you just need something like that, and that's what Joe Brady and Joe Burrow have together is that connection, and it just has led them here with an amazing offense. LSU and Clemson have played 4 times throughout their tenure. LSU is 2-1 against Clemson. However, the last time they played was 2012, which Clemson got the best of them, 25-24. LSU looking for some revenge, even though some of these kids were in middle school and high school when this happened. Honestly, all these kids were in middle school if you think about it. Because if that was 8 years ago,
and I just say this to
you were either a freshman in high school or you were still in middle school.
Say this to LSU fans, it kind of sounds like Uncle Lou, but if you don't know who he is, just go look him up, but he's pretty good. But say to LSU fans, like me being a Georgia fan, like he said, that's why I plugged him, because it sounds kind of similar, but I didn't mean it to. But they just need to enjoy this, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought that Georgia would be back in it, maybe at least back in the playoff, and here we are like a couple years later, and they keep on falling short. So I would just say enjoy it. Remember how hard it was to get to the national championship, and you're probably actually going to do what Georgia was supposed to do and win the thing. So yeah, you just need to enjoy it, because who knows next time that comes around.
And not many schools and programs can make it this far. Just got to think of how the Group of 5 lies, and all these Power 5 schools can just make it this far. And this is LSU's first time in the college football playoffs. This is their first college football playoff championship game. And who knows where LSU will be in the next year coming. There's just, like you said, you just got to enjoy the moment, embrace it.
The big thing is I think this game could come down to like a 1 turnover type deal, or who gets the best pressure on the quarterback. Joe Burrow, you get pressure on him, and he just makes plays. Trevor Lawrence, he's not as fast, so you have a better chance, but I think he's got a better arm. I don't know, I can't even say that. I can't even say it. I don't know. Of course, Trevor Lawrence is the better NFL quarterback, but like right now, based on the season and based on Trevor Lawrence last year, Joe Burrow is a better quarterback going into this game. He don't have the most experience, so that plays a part, but I'd go with Joe Burrow in this.
Yeah. Again, Trevor Lawrence has been here. He's only a sophomore. He's a dang good quarterback. He's like 22-0 as a starter. He's 23-0. He's somewhere up there like that. He's just looking to keep taking care of business. Honestly, I think a couple things could happen. Clemson will either come out, punch him in the mouth. LSU will come out and punch him in the mouth. Or we're just going to see something that we haven't seen in an LSU game all season, and that's a stalemate between the two. I honestly don't know how this game is going to start based off of the two teams we have in front of us.
This is the most excited I've been for a game that didn't have a Georgia team in a while, just because there's not really nobody I dislike, because again, I only dislike Clemson because of their coach and his tendencies. But I'm just glad Alabama's not in it.
This is something different. Obviously, Clemson's been in here.
You get tired of the Patriots and the Warriors in Alabama because it's the same thing. You just want to see something different. You just want to see parity.
Yeah, Clemson's been here, but they have a new opponent now. It's just
Yeah,
it just feels different with the way LSU was playing.
That's what's kind of crazy. Like me, I mean, I'd say like me too. Everybody counting them out, and everybody thought the same thing last year, and they destroyed Alabama. But I don't think there's no destroying LSU. I think you can beat them, but you can't destroy them. That offense is just gonna score. Because Georgia's defense was really good. I think it's really young, and they made some crucial mistakes at the beginning. Like that one play, I think it was like the 60-yard pass. Like, yeah, like you can't, I don't know, you can't be having that.
Yeah. So, more on the ground with ETM. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence will go through the air. The stats just show that they are a balanced team. They're situational. They'll go to whoever should get the ball. If they're down, it's going to be in the hands of Trevor Lawrence. He's going to try to get it to Higgins, Ross. I mean, it's obvious what's going to happen, what you should expect to happen. As for LSU, if they get up, they're not going to stop. Not now. There's no reason to. It's just like what happened with Georgia. Georgia was up 20-7. Why would LSU? This team is different though. Why would LSU just stop, give the ball to Edwards-Helaire, and try to run the ball and run the clock?
They're not, because they don't have that conservative nature of Kirby Smart. That's the only thing
Exactly.
I got on him. It's the only thing I don't like about him. That's it. That conservative nature.
That's what was scary watching them in that Peach Bowl game was after they went up 28-7, Joe Burrow touchdown. He does his fist bump and goes to the sideline, gets in a seat, puts those headphones on, comes back out. He scores again, 42-7. Halftime. It's just
like, all our coaches in America could do a better job than me, because I'm just a dude talking, you know. But you just go ask all the great coaches in any sport. You don't take your foot off the gas, no matter how much you're up. I don't care if you're up 75-0. You just don't take your foot off the gas. You don't.
See, some people would see that as disrespect, but honestly, it's just kind of like you're just doing business. Like,
well, then I tell
like there's a fine line, but there's a fine line between starting to be a little bit more respectful and still taking care of business. Like,
I tell them to turn on the Georgia game 2 years ago, and then the Alabama game last year against Oklahoma, because that thing looked like a blowout at the beginning, but then Kyler Murray started closing the gap. And because they didn't take their foot off the gas, they won. If they would have took their foot off the gas, probably would have went in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like a minute left and you're up by over 2 scores, if you have the ball, there's like 2 minutes left and you're up 2 scores, I think you can kind of calm down. But there should be no reason for any team to just stop just to be nice, because that's not what this is about. This is about winning. You don't need to be nice if it prevents you from winning. Gonna do. Only time I'm gonna see them take their foot off the pedal is if they're winning and Joe Burrow has the ball in his hands and he takes that last knee to win that title for the great state of Louisiana.
I just hope neither one of the quarterbacks get injured, because I have no idea. I don't want that to happen. That's not good for the sport, but I don't have no idea about neither of the backups.
But this is literally, honestly, I think I would have liked to see Ohio State more than Clemson, just because of how Ohio State is played. But this is honestly Super Bowl because Clemson is basically a junior varsity NFL program, and LSU was basically a junior varsity NFL team this year, and this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I got my X factors for both teams on both sides of the ball. I just hope I didn't forget them, but I got them in my head.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we're about to go through next. All right, we'll go individually next, but as an overall team, what do you need to see from LSU to win this game?
I just wish that phone would start ringing, but I just need them to stick to what they're good at. Just the big thing, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and give one away because this helps me tie in my statement. Is you're gonna need Clyde to open it up or Curry to open it up. Because I think even if you know what LSU's going to do by, like, passing, you still can't stop them to a certain extent. But if they can get the run game going, like maybe break one off for a 50-yarder, then Clemson's going to have to respect the run game, so then they can open up the playbook even more. So that's my big thing. They just need to kind of complement, but they dang sure don't need to try to go through Clyde Edwards on the ground. They just kind of need to throw it to him through the air because he's really good at catching passes. Yeah, and on defense, I just think they need to get a turnover. And if you send pressure to Trevor Lawrence, by God, do not let him get out the pocket. Because we've seen what happened against Ohio State. Just don't let him get out the pocket because he moves his legs 4 times and he's done gained 25 yards.
Yeah. What about from the defensive side of Clemson? What does Clemson's defense have to do to stop LSU?
I got something to say, but I don't really know what to pinpoint. I just think it's going to have to take some kind of crazy game, like a Chicago Bears type game, something like that, because I'd say send pressure. That's what Georgia tried to do, and look what happened. So, I don't know.
Nah, Georgia didn't send pressure. They sent 3-0.
Yeah, that was horrible. You can't expect coverage to work because they have receivers all over the field, right? So that's not going to work. You're just going to have to, you're just going to have to kind of mix up the scheme depending on what's working. Maybe send pressure one play, sit back in coverage another. Maybe disguise a free safety and send him on a blitz. You're just going to have to. You can't let Joe Burrow be comfortable. You're going to have to try to force pressure, but not too risky. You can't go crazy and send goal line type stuff. But you can't let him be comfortable. And if you do send pressure, if you mess on him, he's more dangerous than Trevor Lawrence. So it's kind of tough because he's faster. And he can still make throws on the run. He kind of reminds me of Russell Wilson when he does that. And no, I'm not comparing him to Russell Wilson. I'm just saying in that aspect. So I just think the big thing, if I can just quit carrying on about it, the big thing is you're going to have to, I think, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to get 2 turnovers. And they're going to have to capitalize on both of them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're going to have to force LSU to turn over the ball, because if they don't force turnovers, then they're not going to win this game. As simple as that. You're going to have to do something on defense to stop that offense. That's kind of how it is. LSU's defense is going to have to make stops, obviously, because if you don't make stops, then Clemson's going to score. But your offense has got your back, unless just for some reason it just doesn't show up that day.
Yeah, my players, I'll go ahead and say, it's got to be, for Clemson on defense, it'd be Isaiah Simmons, and then on offense, it would be Justin Ross. And then for LSU, it would be Clyde Edwards on offense and Grant Delpit on defense.
Honestly, for me, from the Clemson side, it's going to have to be Trevor Lawrence, because he did it last year. Why can't he do it again this year? And he's the guy for Clemson to win it this year again. And if you don't run it through, obviously LSU can stop him, but you still got to go through him. And if you don't go through him, then you're not going to win this football game. He's the big dog of the NCAA for the next year, with Tua out and Fromm out, and Joe Burrow leaving.
Kind of a Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence competition. So I can't think of
Justin Fields.
Else.
It's just.
This kind of ties into it, and I know I'll probably get on people's nerves, but I just want to see what that transfer can do to Georgia, because they got one of the best. They got some of the best recruits in the nation. I just want to see if I'm full of crap or I was right. because I think they do. The receivers are inexperienced, but as far as stacking program and talent, I think they're in there with the teams we just talked about over the course of these couple minutes. So I'll see how he does, because he could be in the conversation too. Is he going to be better than Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields? No, but if he's anywhere better than Jake Fromm, I think they got a chance next year too.
LSU has a bunch of offensive guys. I mean, there's not really one pinpoint guy I see that could necessarily change the game. But with how Justin Jefferson played last week, I kind of have high expectations for Jamar Chase. Like, if anybody needs to do something, not that he has to, because, again, Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards, Justin Jefferson, all the other wide receivers that aren't the top guys. Well, I wouldn't say that they're not top, but they're not Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. But you also have Thaddeus Moss, sorry. Like, you could say he's one, but for me, it's got to be Jamar Chase, because Justin Jefferson took care of business in the Peach Bowl. Like, we haven't seen Jamar Chase done anything in a while. That has been super crazy. But I think if you can get him going, or Thaddeus Moss, I think Justin Jefferson will open up. And
what I like about these games is people that ain't played that crazy all year, and it's kind of been like a decent player. Sometimes they like come out their shell.
That's what I like.
Riley Ridley for Georgia, even though they didn't win. Then Justin Ross last year, and I'm trying to think of some other people over the years, but those are the only two I could think of. Those are two receivers.
Yeah, LSU's defense will. If Pitt, you got.
I'm trying to think of that man that's at cornerback. I think he's like a freshman.
That's gonna be my X factor. You got Kerry Vincent Jr., you got Patrick Queen, you got all these guys on defense. But my guy's gonna have to be Derek Stingley Jr., the freshman. After how he locked down he's gonna have to lock down Justin Ross, because if you lock down Trevor Lawrence's options, his top options, then he'll have to go to the little guys. He'll have to dish it down to Travis Etienne. He'll have to find different ways to move the ball. And Derek Stingley, if he can lock down that wide receiver, then obviously you got more for him, but honestly, I don't see what Clemson can do on offense, because you take him out, Grant Delpit will come in and take care of his job. He'll have the linebackers take care of their job.
Yeah, Clemson got some really good linebackers, or maybe that was just Ohio State's offense. I don't know, but pretty sure they got some decent linebackers.
Like Michael Divinity Jr., though, like there's just so much. There's so much for them on defense that if one person does their job, it'll just be a domino effect. And Javon Stingley's got to be that guy for me to just do it. And well, so we kind of have our guys. We've talked about them. We've talked about stats. We've talked about the season. But all it comes down is to one last game. And well, Gentry, what's going to happen? Tell us how you think the game is going to fall and what is going to be at the end of this 2019-2020 college football season.
I got LSU by 10. I think that's what I told my teacher last week. Reason why? It's because no matter how good that defense is, this is exactly what I told him. No matter how good it is, you're not going to stop an offense. I know they say defense wins championships, but this man, Joe Brady, has literally broke the game. He's brought an NFL style and broke college football. There's no other way to explain it. I mean, I think it's just kind of like, I'm going to say this, tied into my prediction of what's going to happen. And don't get mad at me if an LSU fan makes it this far into the video. I think this is kind of like a one-time thing. It just fell right that you had Joe Burrow. It just fell right that you have good receivers everywhere, and that you have Ed Ogeron. Because I don't see how you're going to do this next year. But that's kind of... But, Yeah, I just think they're going to be able to do it because, like I said earlier, their defense plays down the competition, and when they play Georgia, even though that Georgia offense is kind of god-awful, but when they played Oklahoma, that's a better thing to say. They did a dang good job because, I mean, they pretty much shut down Jalen Hurts. Got beat on one time was, I think, a CeeDee Lamb throw downfield, and after that, it was kind of over for Oklahoma. They didn't really do anything. But I think if LSU gets, I think almost Clemson cannot, it's almost a situation where Clemson cannot turn the ball over one time. If they don't, I almost think it's that urgent. I mean, I think they can because they have Trevor Lawrence, but if they turn over the ball, it's going to be difficult to win, even one turnover. I think they just got to play keep away from LSU, and they got to chew the clock. Kind of like a Gus Malzahn mentality when he plays Alabama. He kind of just holds onto the ball and chews clock and tries to run it. I think that's what Clemson has to do with Travis Etienne. But LSU, they just got to stick to what they're good at.
What do you think? What do you think the final score will be?
Oh, man.
What do you think the final score would be with LSU being the 5.5 point favorite and the over/under 68.5? You going over or under? What's going to be your final score? You obviously got LSU by 10, so.
I think it would be like, might be something like, I don't know, that's not, I'm trying to think of it. Maybe something like 41-31. I don't know. Yeah, might just say that.
41-31. Okay.
It's going to be harder to come about.
Definitely interesting one. For the final game of the year, you got the Tigers from the Bayou. You got the Tigers from Death Valley. This will be one hell of a championship game. And it will definitely be probably the most entertaining one we've seen yet, in my opinion, just because of how things are gonna be with these two teams. You got these two offenses, Clemson's defense. But in the end, I believe that the LSU Tigers will come out on top. And I did some bowl game projections, and I had the final score of that game being 73. So I think it'll be over 68.5. But I think it's going to be closer than expected. I think Clemson's going to be the team with the ball, and LSU's going to be winning. Clemson's going to come down, have to hoping for a miracle, and then.
If it comes faith in that defense, I think. But like I said, I think it's better than people say. But I don't think they can handle that pressure. Not with Trevor Lawrence's experience.
I'm thinking that maybe it's going to be 38-35. It's going to be under the 5.5 LSU point favorite, which is kind of crazy, but Clemson defense, I think this is going to be a good game, and LSU is going to have to be in a nail-biter with Clemson. I think LSU maybe comes out, punch Clemson in the mouth. Maybe not necessarily do it harmfully, but maybe 14-0 quick. Clemson gets it 14-7 by the end of the first quarter. Clemson kind of goes back and forth with them. You go up, you go up.
Yeah,
LSU kicks a field goal at some point.
Hope the refs don't get involved in it. That would suck.
I think LSU wins off of big plays from Joe Burrow, from the wide receiving core, from Thaddeus Moss. But I think in the end it's going to be about 38-35 LSU. And
yeah, I like that score better.
Or less than that. I don't think this is going to be crazy. I don't think the teams are going to go in the 40. Just because I know Clemson's defense will do better than any team that has played LSU yet. I think Clemson has a better experience than Georgia's defense, and therefore LSU will not score the 38 they scored against Georgia.
Yeah, big thing is you just got to kind of slow them down in the first half because that's what kind of team they are. I see Clemson as a second half team and LSU as a first half team. So that's kind of another thing to look at. But that's just my opinion though. But I think the stats will tell you LSU's more of a first half team, especially after the last game.
Yeah, but in the end, I think we both believe that the Bayou Bengals will finally capture that title that they've been so desperately waiting for since 2008. And they'll walk out in their basically home territory. They'll take it back home to Baton Rouge, not too far away. They'll send Clemson back home to Death Valley. They'll end the 29-game winning streak. Unfortunately, it would probably be very not cool to see that. 2 back-to-back perfect seasons, but Joe Burrow's too much. But again, it's going to be closer than the experts think. It's going to be less scoring than the experts think. And that is my take on the 2020 college football national champion. On your thoughts of the game, anything that you kind of held back or you're thinking of now? Maybe one last exclamation point?
No, I'm just saying this one more time. Just enjoy it, because you can probably tell by my vibes, but I have no idea how. I mean, nobody does. That's why we're all fans and we all do predictions. But I have no idea how LSU's going to look next year. So I just say enjoy it, because you kind of know what Clemson's going to look like. I mean, they still got they'll have the same core, except probably Travis Etienne. But yeah, I just hope again that the refs don't ruin or come down to one crucial play. You know, fans have a tendency to point at plays like that, but I just hope there's not like a sore thumb to where when I wake up in the morning on Tuesday and turn on the TV that they're talking about. I just hope there's not a play like that, because that kind of ruins sports for me. But let's hope that they actually let the players decide, which 9 times out of 10 that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, kind of with you there. I hope that the refs stay out of it. We have a nice, clean game. Obviously, LSU is going to talk, because that's just who they are. I hope that they obviously have some fun with it. Kind of go big, go home in the end. Give the fans what they want. And I think we got a good one ahead of us.
It might be one of the best ones in years.
Yeah, I think this game will be crazy. But well, that's our final preview of the season. Again, this is a very new podcast, but that is the final one of the season, and we'll hit you back with a review of the college football playoff, the championship game, sometime this week. We'll get it out to you hopefully sometime this week.
Yeah, looking like Friday or Saturday or Sunday.
We'll probably try to get it out by Friday, and then we'll have depending on how long we do that one, we might do a review of the 2019-2020 season. Maybe, we might not. We don't want to extend it. We don't want it to overrun. But with college football podcasts left after this one, man, it's going to be kind of crazy. We're going to have to wait until September before college football comes back. It kind of hurts.
Yeah, it'll be a long time, but we can fill it up with basketball and baseball. And
oh yeah,
this guy that's talking with me is going to have to help me with baseball, but I can help him with basketball. That's kind of how that's going to go. He knows way more about baseball, and I kind of keep up with basketball more, so it's kind of the deal. Next
Sunday, what we'll do is we'll kind of catch back up on the NBA. We'll talk about how the NBA season has started, and then kind of show off or talk about that week of NBA, the highlights of that week. So this week right here that we are in right now, we'll talk about it. We'll highlight the highlights, obviously, and we're just trying to catch back up on the NBA season. And like he said, he'll help me out because he's a little bit more NBA than I am. I'm a little bit more MLB than he is. We'll get some NFL podcast out there. Really, you can catch out his Gentry's thoughts on his channel at UGA 1982, and you can kind of see his thoughts on the playoff games so far. But maybe we'll get you some NFL games out there. Me and him will talk about it. But NBA is coming next week. We are the All Sports Podcast. So we're looking to bring you the best and most entertaining podcast about all sports. And well, next up after the podcast coming on Friday, should be out maybe Friday night, Saturday. We're going to move right into NBA. So
yeah, that's where the fun starts for you. I'll probably get into some trouble in the comments.
We got a little bit of time left, maybe. How much time do you think we got left on this one? I think we're like on an hour time limit. So.
Yeah, so we probably need
to. How much time do you think we got left?
I don't know, because I ended the other one, so this is a new one.
Oh yeah, so you can just combine them. So I think we'll be all right. Since we have a little bit of time left, what's your highlight to this college football season? What kind of made this season special?
Still think that Alabama LSU game was kind of crazy. I'm trying to think of a different one too. I don't know. I hate to do this because everybody knows I'm an SEC homer, but that's going to be Georgia's going to come in kind of a rebuilding stage, and Dan Mullen's going to be kind of on the hot seat. Like, this is going to be his year, kind of. I mean, you got everything lining up for you. And then Gus Malzahn just kind of, he looked like he was going to get fired, and now he's supposed to, in my opinion, he's supposed to be the favorite next year. And yeah, I'm kind of counting out Alabama. Why? Because I don't really like Mac Jones, but if he put Tua's brother in, when we come back and look at this video, I'll change my opinion. But are you going to win a national championship with Mac Jones in 2020? I don't think so. But that's just me. So, yeah. But that's basically my thing, is LSU really surprised me. And then, Ohio State surprised me too, because I know Justin Fields was good, but they come out the gate pretty fast. They just couldn't finish it off. But that's basically all I can think of at this moment.
I thought it was a very, very good college football season. We got a great championship game. Some big games, some big upsets, all that. Oklahoma's big comeback on Baylor was huge. The LSU-Alabama game was honestly game of the year in my opinion, even though we haven't seen this one yet. But just a great season, some great bowl games. LSU obviously stood out, just coming out of nowhere. Nobody kind of expected them, except for LSU fans, I would believe that this was a championship season. As any team of a Power 5 team, once again, another disappointing season from the Pac-12, even though Oregon lost to Auburn and somebody else, I forgot, but I need the Pac-12 and Big 12 and Big 10 has got to find ways to get into the playoff other than Ohio State. The Big 12 is weak. Oklahoma's the only team, and the only reason they make it is because of the teams they play.
Pac-12, Ole Miss next year.
Pac-12 hasn't made it since Oregon, so I'm just kind of disappointed of the same stuff that's going on. LSU just replaced Alabama, really. But basically, I'm just ready for next year. I'm ready to see, hopefully, those conferences stand out and give us some diversity.
Yeah, a big thing that needs to happen is the ACC needs to strengthen up. I mean, that's one of the best conferences as far as drawing people, but their program across the board is pretty daggone weak. That's probably the worst one out of all the main one besides the Sun Belt and stuff like that, but the Sun Belt just started not too long ago, so I mean, you can't even put that on them, and they can't even get recruits like Clemson can. So I mean, you can't put that on them.
Yeah.
They keep on messing around. I'm being serious. Sun Belt's gonna be better than the ACC. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with that conference besides Clemson. They're literally carrying them.
Yeah, I mean, I understand some of these teams are in rebuilding phases, but at some point you're a Power 5. You're in a Power 5 school, so you should be somewhere. That's just what I gotta say. But a great college football season, a great ending, and well, from me and my colleague, this has been the All Sports Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed. We hope that you will like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you Friday.
And that's what my plan is. If not Friday, it'd be like early Saturday morning. Like I'm talking about, like the hours, like early. Not like actual 6 a.m., but you know what I mean. But
yeah, whenever the video renders and goes up. So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the video. We hope you'll like it, subscribe, and again all that, and would be much appreciated. But we will see you for the final college football podcast Friday. See you then.
Alright, see you guys in the next one.